Okay, hi there guys, sorry I'm just having my lunch at the moment and it's been a very quiet day. Welcome to Forex England's live Forex trading, 19th of February 2018. I'm looking at the British pound US dollar here and I'm going to give this a go. I've been watching it, 2.5 lots short, 140.16. So it's a quiet day today guys. We've not had much movement, but that doesn't necessarily mean from a technical perspective we can't just drift lower. So I've sold 2.5 lots here of the sterling dollar. I like this trade because it's a really nice tight stop. We're not expecting much volume going into the afternoon, and I know that if I'm proven wrong, there's no trade left for me in the afternoon at all. So I like the fact that I'm going to be proven wrong fairly quickly if I am wrong here. So I'm going to press the pause button, get the running P&L up here on the left hand side, and put the stop in place. Okay guys, so as we can see, running P&L here, $25 per tick. Stop placement is going to go 140.35, 140.35, just a couple of ticks above a price point which I've had my eye on today. So you can see it's only an 18.6 pip stop here, and I'm risking £331.78. You've got session highs obviously during the Asian session way above that price area, but I'm not willing to give this that much kind of room today because of the fact that I'm not expecting much volatility going into the afternoon. I want it fairly tight, and I imagine it's just going to be a steady grind if anything at all. So after a period of consolidation here guys, we have started to see things break down a bit. 140.07, so we're fairly close to that 140 handle. I like that. The reason I like that is it means that we might want to go down and retest it again. Notice how we dipped briefly through it during early Europe. We dipped again around the London session, recovered slightly, but if we start going back into it and the market comes back towards it guys, well then we're looking for a target back down towards the session lows, and this is nothing more than just an intraday move. 20 ticks, 1 for 1 is really what I'm looking for here. So that's of course if the market wants to play out as we want it to anyway. So here's the running P&L. It's 12:22 in the afternoon. I'll press the pause button. 12:37 is now the time guys. We've just seen a continuation here to the downside, and I know this isn't a lot in terms of points, but you've got to put into context what the London session have done for the entire day so far today. So if we just line up London here, you can see that from a price perspective where we opened, okay, so our entry is actually around the London Open, believe it or not. I didn't know that, but that doing the analysis now, that's where we are, 140.16, and we moved 7 ticks to the downside. We moved about 25 ticks to the upside. We moved about 14 ticks. This movement here guys is nothing more than order flow by the looks of things. There's no real significant trend. There's no major sentiment shift. This is a purely technical driven play. So you can see we come down to the 140.07 area again. Correlation wise, what are we seeing elsewhere? Well, the Aussie dollar, of course, we took that off last night because we didn't gap below 78.90. You can see it's just been flirting. It's been one of the better performers today. It's just been flirting with its pivot all day, marginally dipping above it during Asia trade, but rolling over here. Dollar yen doing its own thing again, and euro dollar as well. From a technical perspective, starting to get a little bit of dollar index strength, and the index futures here pulling back, forming a little bit of price action stability just above the opening gap low, 88.95, the 89 area. So forming a bit of a bid here, and hopefully we should now get a continuation higher in the Dixie, which should correspond and correlate with sterling pushing through 140, which is of course what we're looking for. Until we get through 140 guys, I'm not going to do anything with the stop, but if we do get through 140 then I will be trailing the stop a little bit tighter, say to around 140.30. I know it's not a lot, but 5 ticks is still 5 ticks when you're trading the volume. It's all relative. So yeah, nothing more to report guys. Let's see if we can get a flush through 140. I'll press pause. Okay guys, 12:47. You can see we've just gone through that.
Just FX now, we're seeing some dollar strength.
Yep, of course we are. 140.07, that price point. Okay, we've gone through that, and we're now eyeing up, if we can stay below it. We don't do kind of a false break through it. We're now eyeing up the London low around 139.92. We've had, of course, some chop around the 140 handle. You know, 3 ticks away at the moment. You can see that we're just getting some reaction coming into that 140 zone, but we are of the mindset that this should, you know, run to the downside. And on days like this, they can sometimes they can work to your advantage, where you've got, you know, real quiet markets in the afternoon because you don't have as much market volume. Therefore, sometimes if you get a stop hunt through a particular area, say a session low or a session high or a key price point, you'll have more of an exacerbated move because there's no real volume to support the falling price or the rising price. So that's why you tend to sometimes wake up, you know, to significant price movements overnight during the Asian session, where you've had extreme levels of volatility, and sometimes that's touted because, you know, the lack of volume, or volumes were very light, you know, relative to the activity during the London and the US session. When volumes are light, people, you know, you get more of a panic situation because the market will run stops a lot quicker. Nobody's there to pick them up on the downside, and people start panicking. You get bigger. You can get bigger moves. I'm not saying that that's likely to happen here with the sterling. It's just something you've got to bear in mind. You know, sometimes not. It's not always a bad thing to have quiet markets because they do behave well technically sometimes. Anyway, that's what I hope is going to happen here with the sterling. Here's the running P&L. Up just over a couple of £100 at the moment, and yeah, I'll press pause. Okay guys, just back 132. We've just had a break now through new session lows, 139.92. Two minds as to what to do with this now, because I feel greed creeping its way back in. Right, so let's put this into perspective. Dollar index coming up to the key resistance high at 89.19. Dixie futures trading 89.17. Euro rolling down, targeting session lows here at 123.86. Aussie dollar doing the similar sort of thing with a low pullback at 79.06, and the dollar yen, of course, rolling. So we're at that stage. We're at that stage now, going into the afternoon flow, that things are starting to shift. First thing I'm going to do, with the breakdown that we've had, there's no reason for this to want to come back up here, is I'm going to move the stop to 140.20. Shouldn't be any reason why this wants to come up now. Where's this one coming today? 67. Okay, guys, I'm gonna press pause here. I'm gonna go off screen and just do some bigger picture analysis, because I might want to take half off here. I just want to double check I'm doing the right thing. So I'm gonna press pause. Okay, guys, I've cracked it. I know exactly what I'm going to do now. Stop. Okay, is going to 140.10. Let's get that done first. Just had a look elsewhere at a couple of things. Right, stop's going 140.10. I'm now going to close. Okay, so we've got 2.5 lots short. I'm going to close 1.5 lots here. Right, booked 1.5 lots, meaning, and I'm now net short 1 lot. Okay, I've actually booked £291.65. Worst case scenario, if this comes back up now and stops me out, then I'm going to make £45.76. So you're talking about 340 odd quid. Okay, will be the worst case scenario that I've got now if the sterling does a recovery. To the downside, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my limit at 139.75 on the remaining lot. Ahead of S1. So, best case scenario, I bank another 296, so pretty much 290 quid. Turns into 580. There or thereabouts. Worst case scenario, I bank, as I said, about 330 quid, there or thereabouts. That is the current scenario that I've locked in now, effectively. So we'll see what happens, guys. 136. Okay, guys, that didn't last very long. It's 150, and as you can see, we've been limited out of that. Just coming into S1 here. So we'll quickly run through these trades. Obviously, we've got the Aussie dollar here, which I booked last night, 79.09, which is virtually where it's trading at the moment, or 79.06, for 832 spot 46. So the initial sterling dollar short, well, both of them 2.5 lots were sold from 140.16, 19 minutes past 2, and as you can see, they were obviously, we had a trail stop to 140.10. Both instances, I took off 1.5 lots at a price of 139.89, £291 and 65p, and left the remaining unit, the remaining lot, 140.16. Obviously, of course, the entry filled the limit at 139.75. Actually, got filled marginally a milli point better, so 139.74.9. On the volatility moving lower. So 296.96 on that, 291.65 on that, and of course the Aussie dollar. Today's total, so this takes into account Friday's P&L, but because we were leaving it running, £1,405 is the bottom line, so across Friday and today. In terms of what else we're kind of seeing here, yes, we're getting that dollar continuation going into the afternoon, so slight US volume coming in here, but in agreeing, it's basically agreeing with, you know, the sentiment that we of course followed through and saw on Friday. So that's good to see. Of course, the question is whether or not this is now the new norm, whether or not tomorrow we're going to be looking for continuation plays in the dollar strength, or in fact if we're going to be playing a bit of a pullback when the Asian volume starts to come back in, and of course the US floor trading volume starts to come back in. But nonetheless, it was about the sterling dollar today, which did look fairly weak this morning, and of course we waited for that prime entry moment in accordance with our strategy, and traded down to the levels which again form part of our strategy. So if you have any questions, guys, then feel free to contact, comment below, or send me an email.